Karate Kid Legends, the movie that should have never even happened in the first place. I had the misfortune of watching this movie early, and I didn't want to review it right away because I wanted to see it properly in the cinema for a second time. Not to decide if it was good or not, but just so I can properly try and remember all the crazy and dumb things that actually happened. So without wasting any more time, let's unfortunately jump into this review and get it over with. All the way back to when this movie was first announced, I had my gripes with it and I thought it was the completely dumbest idea I've ever heard. There was rumors of the plot being some kid who already knows Kung Fu teaching a grown man, a grown boxer actually, Kung Fu. And while I respect that they tried to have a completely different take on the Karate Kid, this just doesn't work in terms of a Karate Kid movie and the Karate Kid mythos. And then out of nowhere in November of 2023, it was randomly announced that Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan would be reprising their roles of Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso in this movie as well. So I thought the whole storyline of the kid who knows Kung Fu teaching a grown man Kung Fu, I thought that storyline would be scrapped completely, but unfortunately that storyline paired along with the fact that Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han would be in this movie too. All of those insane ideas came to fruition. Now, to get it out of the way, I'm going to talk about the good in this movie. Side note, there is not much, but the only bright spots that I saw was Ben Wang's performance, but the way his character was written and just the development throughout the story, it didn't really paint him in a good light. The only meaningful character dynamic in this film was the character of Li Fang and the pizza shop owner. Funny enough, the storyline that I was loathing and thought was the biggest waste of time and dumbest thing to ever step foot in this universe, that was probably the best part, was between those two characters. But the rest, my word, the rest was a steaming pile of dog. My biggest problem from the get-go wasn't even the story, it wasn't even the fact that they were breaking previous canon by combining Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han's universes. It was solely for the fact that they didn't come to John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Heald to be the creatives behind this film. Now, I'm certainly not saying that John, Josh, and Hayden, everything that they touch turns to gold. But when it comes to the Karate Kid universe, they certainly know what they're doing. They're die-hard fans and really put every ounce of love and care that they have into everything that they do for this universe. And it certainly makes sure that stupid little mistakes that the Karate Kid 2 taking place in 1986, it'll pretty much guarantee that canonical mistakes like that don't happen, because we all know that Karate Kid 2 took place in 1984. John, Josh, and Hayden just came off the high of making one of the best reboot sequels and continuations of all time in Cobra Kai. Why would those guys not be the first people that you go to when you're talking about making another Karate Kid movie? I just don't get it. And because of that, Sony just focused on this strictly being a cash grab rather than telling a meaningful story, and that resulted in there being no heart and soul, no clear motive of what they're trying to accomplish. They're just trying to sell tickets by bringing Ralph and Jackie into this, and just to selfishly make money. I mean, I get that's what the whole film and TV industry is about, but making a worthysome story to an already established franchise should be what is front and center here. The runtime for Karate Kid Legends is only an hour and 34 minutes, and that's including all of the credits, so it's probably right around an hour and 20-ish minutes. And that is by far the shortest Karate Kid movie among all 6 of them. Now, I'm not saying every Karate Kid movie needs to be 2 hours and 30 minutes long, no. But it's apparent in this movie that it suffers from the short runtime. The characters are so far underdeveloped, none of the relationships are meaningful besides Lee and the boxer, and Sony lied to us by making us think that Ralph and Jackie would have a very prominent supporting role behind Li Fang's Karate Kid, but they're really only apparent in the last 30 to 20 minutes in this film, while the trailers make it seem that they're going to be around for a majority of the movie. Every time there's a meaningful scene or an attempt at a meaningful scene, it's immediately cut and moved on to the next thing. This movie is just go, 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 and with no breaks at all. And any other attempt at a meaningful scene, it's just thrown in there with some crappy, cheesy montage that really doesn't fulfill anything. The power scaling in this movie absolutely makes no sense either, because here in one scene, we have Li Fang trying to confront Connor, who's the supposed bully of this Karate Kid movie. he gets his butt absolutely destroyed in the park at the school, and that's just a one-on-one fight. Connor isn't even using his hands, he's just straight up kicking him. Whereas in the very next scene, where the loan sharks are trying to confront the boxer for the money that he owes them, Lee is able to easily dismantle these multiple grown adults with weapons, mind you. So it's kind of just straight up confusing the audience. Here we have Lee Fang struggling against a kid who knows karate, who's not even using his hands, just his feet, and he destroys him. Whereas in the next scene, Lee completely destroys a bunch of grown adults who somehow don't know karate either. They just have a bunch of weapons, and he's able to dismantle them with no problem at all. Probably my biggest gripe with the story in this is the utilization of Daniel LaRusso's character. We have Jackie Chan's Mr. Han coming all the way out to California. Mind you, this guy jumps on a plane every other scene in this movie and somehow is like a 70-year-old man and not even close to having jet lag or being tired. He goes all the way to California to recruit Daniel LaRusso to teach Lee Miyagi-Do karate, because he's apparently the only hope in helping Lee win this tournament. And then when Daniel LaRusso eventually agrees and comes all the way to California on a whim, he goes and attempts to teach Lee Miyagi-Do, and then Mr. Han will not shut up when Daniel's trying to teach him something meaningful, and he just counteracts everything he says. Like, there was this one scene where Daniel was trying to teach Lee some kind of takedown, and Mr. Han's like, no, ancient way. And he's like, and then Daniel's like, Miyagi way. And it's like, dude, what did you bring him here for if you're not gonna even let him teach your student? Like, chill out. And even during the tournament, Lee does some amazing kick, and Daniel's like, I think I taught him that. And then Mr. Han's like, no, I taught him that. Like, I know it's meant for some comedy relief, but I just found it completely annoying and kind of disrespectful to not only Daniel's character, but to Miyagi-Do karate and Mr. Miyagi's legacy. It's like if you were actually a friend of Mr. Miyagi, you would show his style of karate and his student, his best student, some respect, that he's actually gonna teach your student what he knows that you don't know. Now, before I start to wrap up this video, I want to talk about the abomination that was the Five Boroughs tournament. That was the weakest and dumbest tournament I have ever seen, not only in a martial arts movie, but just in general in my life. That tournament looked like a glorified fight club. It didn't even look like a tournament. Lee only had to win 4 matches to make it to the final. Is it really the biggest tournament in New York? Because I feel like it would have had a lot more competitors if it was covering the 5 boroughs of Manhattan. You would think there would be a lot more fighters. And it just was so cheesy. It just had a bunch of random people circling around these 2 people fighting. There was no mats. There was no real referees. I mean, there was a referee who got completely assaulted by Connor in the final. It was like, okay, guess rules don't exist in this tournament. And just the whole motivation for Lee fighting in this thing to save the pizza owner's pizza shop. It's like, really, it's not because he's fighting for the honor of Mr. Han and his school, Daniel and Miyagi-Do. No, he's just fighting for money so he can, yeah, it's honorable that he's trying to help out his friend, but he's fighting for money. He's not fighting to stand up against his bullies. He's not fighting for himself or for the people that he cares about. He's just fighting to save his friend's business. And I feel like while it's an honorable thing, I feel like that's a rather weak motive to enter a whole tournament. The surprise cameo of Johnny Lawrence was cool upon first glance, but again, that too was just thrown in there based off of the success of Cobra Kai, so people can be like, whoa, Johnny's back, whoa, you gotta go see this movie. And William Zabka absolutely carried his performance of Johnny Lawrence. The writing did not do him justice. It was just a cheesy attempt to replicate what they wrote for Johnny's character in Cobra Kai. Like, some of the moments I was just like cringing. I'm like, Johnny would never say that. Olive's on, Olive's off. It's like, no. Again, it's just another glorified cameo like Ralph and Jackie just to get butts in seats. And unfortunately, it's looking like this movie is making more money than probably expected. So unfortunately, this is not the end of the Karate Kid sequels. Hopefully, Sony will get their act together and actually listen to the fans and have the creatives of John, Josh, and Hayden try and attempt to clean up their mess. If they'll even do that, because if I were them, I'd be kind of pissed off that they didn't come to them explicitly based off of their success of Cobra Kai, because we know they can get it done, we know they can tell a meaningful story in this universe. I just don't know why they were not the the first ones that they went to. But guys, that's my rant of this abomination, if you even want to call it a Karate Kid movie. I certainly don't want to, but if you're wondering where this ranks in my Karate Kid movie ranking, it's in dead last, and on a good day, it's barely even above the next Karate Kid, which is saying something because the next Karate Kid is horrible in its own right. But guys, that's going to do it for this video and my review of Karate Kid Legends, Cash Grab Legends, shout out Kevin. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rant. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to stay up to date with everything when it comes to the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai series and upcoming Miyagi-verse projects. Hopefully John, Josh, and Hayden got something in the pipeline that they're cooking up, because you can guarantee it's going to be a hell of a lot better than what was put on screen here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. No mercy.